What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Maple Leafs Media. We got a pregame show tonight. It's a bit different. The Maple Leafs are in a late night matchup with the Edmonton Oilers, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time out on the West Coast. How's it going tonight, Clarkey?
It's going great. Hyped for the game tonight. Ready to go. Let's talk Leafs. Let's get a good pregame in here, and then let's take it home all the way to the end of the night, boys and girls.
Let's do it. Let's start off with some stats between these two teams. Toronto and Edmonton have played five times this season, and Toronto is 3-1-1 in these 5 matchups. They've outscored the Oilers by a total score of 16-12. So they've taken points in all but one matchup in 5. That's critical, especially when the team that you're facing is second in the North Division.
Yeah, great point. I mean, that's a great record so far. And, a dominant performance on Saturday night. And quick shout out to everyone here. We got, hey, everyone, go Leafs go. Go Leafs go. How's it going? Jake Clark, pretty good. How you doing, Mick? Baseball 27. Way to start the night saying we are screwed. We'll get into that, but that's a hot take all right off the bat. I don't want to go to bed thinking that. So, let's get into it. Let's talk hockey. Let's talk Leafs.
Let's do it. I think it's going to be important to score first tonight. The Toronto Maple Leafs have won 11 games when scoring first. That's more than any other team in the NHL. And the Edmonton Oilers are second in that category. 10 games won when they score first. So scoring first in this game is going to be pivotal. It's just quick momentum right off the bat between these two high-flying teams.
Yeah, I think that tonight's going to be a battle. And we've seen what happened with Calgary after we pushed them around and steamrolled them. Next time we played them after that performance, they came back hard and they beat us. So we got to be ready for a hungry, angry, physical Edmonton team tonight because they might throw everything at us. But great point to start off the show that scoring first is critical. And that might be who wins the game depending on who has the first period dominant performance and first goal.
Absolutely agree with you. There's some injury news, as always. The injury bug been hitting the Toronto Maple Leafs hard early on this season. So Frederik Andersen is doubtful. Jack Campbell didn't practice with the team. And Austin Matthews is considered a game-time decision. Whatever that means, I guess Sheldon Keefe probably has his mind made up already about this. I guess he's probably going to allow Austin Matthews to make the final decision. Jack Campbell, he didn't practice. I don't see him starting. Frederik Andersen, you want to make sure your starter's fully rested. I think Hutch gets the start tonight, and Austin Matthews is all up in there.
Yeah, that's some great points. Campbell didn't practice. I doubt that he'd be in. And I do agree, too. Hutch, I think Hutch is in. Mark Williams says he hears Hutch is in. I don't know who his inside source is on the Leafs, but thanks for that comment. But yeah, I think that Hutch is probably going to start tonight. As for Matthews, could go either way. I'd prefer he doesn't play if he's not 100%. We don't need to rush him back for any particular reason. It's just another regular season game, win or lose. It's not worth risking Matthews getting hurt more. So if he's not 100%, I'd say rest him.
Absolutely. It's 2 points. It's 2 points, and we're first in the division. There's no need to rush him back. Make sure he's fully healthy because you don't want him to re-aggravate that wrist injury later in the season and just have it become a much bigger problem.
Yeah, I think that I read something that he was not participating in rushes. Like he wasn't really participating in a full practice the other day. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the Edmonton Oilers, as we all know, they were shut out 4-0, and Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, they got a lot of star power over there, and they're
Oh
probably
yeah.
very frustrated. You saw Connor McDavid's face; it kind of looked like this. It kind of looked like this in this picture. Like he looked
Is
about.
that you? Is that you with him?
That's me with Connor McDavid.
Oh my gosh.
It's
You didn't
turn.
wash that hand after you touched that shoulder, eh? I don't think I would have.
Well, he looks about as frustrated in that picture as he did the other night. So I think that he's going to come back and he's going to obviously be motivated. So my question for you is, do you think the Edmonton Oilers will bounce back tonight?
Are we going into score predictions already, or?
No, just do you think that they're going to bounce back and have a better
Yeah.
performance?
Yeah, I think the easy answer there is yes. I mean, like I said with Calgary, I think it's a similar thing here with Edmonton. I think a team always has a hop in their step and a little extra motivation when they really get flat out steamrolled, like we did to them the other night. And yeah, you're right. They got top end talent on their team. McDavid has 40 points. If he comes out angry and he has a really good game, he has the capability. And I know hockey's a team sport, but he has the capability to swing the whole game. So we have to watch out for that. And yeah, he could be very mad. I mean, there's a great comment up here. We got to get to it. Duncan Russell says McDavid looked very pissed off last game. He's going to be very, very eager to get on the scoreboard tonight. Need to be prepared. I think that puts it perfectly that we're going to have an angry McDavid, the best player in the world. That's dangerous. What do you think, though?
I think so too. Anytime that he hits the ice, he's motivated, but he's playing against his hometown team, the Toronto Maple Leafs, added motivation. And we have beat them 3 times this season, and he's just got shut out the other night. It's not very frequent that Connor McDavid is held off the score sheet, let alone having the Edmonton Oilers shut out. This team's going to come back, and they're going to come out firing.
Yep. And there's a lot of, I think a lot of Leafs fans in here are getting prepared for a battle tonight.
Nevin says they'll bounce back, but the Leafs will hold on for the win. I hope so. Corey Parrish says, I honestly believe Keefe is using hockey psychology with the Oilers, just saying Matthews is a game time decision, but not allow Edmonton to game plan as easily, and Matthews makes a big difference. It's definitely possible. These are professional athletes on either side. I'd expect them to be prepared with or without Austin Matthews over in Edmonton.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. I mean, that's one thing we don't consider as hockey fans is that sometimes coaches will say certain things and not because they don't want to give their opponent an edge. So thanks for that, Corey. That's a very insightful comment.
Absolutely. So the power play, it was a bit concerning, more so the 2 games prior to this past game. So over the past 3 games, they've been 1 for 12, 1 for 1 the other night against the Oilers, but 1 for 12 over the past 3 games. Do you think that this could turn into a problem?
I mean, it's not looking too good right now. Small sample size over just 3 games, but I think if we see it stretch out a couple more games, then I think it's cause for concern. I mean, we have to consider too that we're playing the same team multiple times in a row usually. So I think we scored on the power play on Saturday night, right? Was it that the Flames had a really good penalty kill those first 2 games? I don't know, but there is definitely factors that maybe if it keeps going on, I'd say then we start to be concerned about that. How about
Yeah, I mean, the power play prior to last game, it was very painful to watch at times. I mean, we couldn't really hold on to puck possession, and it seemed like half the time on the power play was being spent retrieving the puck in our own end. That's a problem. Looked better last game, but such a small sample size with just 1 opportunity. I'd expect them to have more opportunities tonight. So let's see this rebound.
Yeah, I'll be excited. Hopefully, it seems like how all the games are going, there's always going to be opportunities on the power play, hopefully. So if we can get on the power play tonight, And hopefully we're the first ones on. We take advantage, get that first goal, keep that record alive that you mentioned earlier. Get the dub.
Well, speaking of rebounding, let's move to a player rather than a unit. John Tavares. John Tavares, Johnny Toronto, Pajama Boy, the captain. He's been, in the eyes of a lot of people, struggling this season, and he hasn't produced as much as you'd like to see him produce. 19 points in 22 games played, but just 6 goals. Last game, he had 2 assists, 5 shots on goal, and he looked much better. He looked like he was playing with a lot of hunger out there. So my question to you is, do you think that John Tavares is going to produce more?
I'm going to say yes. I mean, I'd hope so. I think that the one thing that I'm surprised about that is we were ripping on him. We're not ripping on him, but we were talking about how he needed to step up a couple weeks ago, and that it didn't look like he had that much impact on the game. But then you see those stats; he's almost a point per game player, still getting in, setting up a lot of goals, playmaking, two-way player. So I think that he has produced a lot for this team, and he does a lot of things that the stat line doesn't always do justice. But I think that, I think he's our leader, so he has to continue to produce and produce more. I'd say produce more, but I'm not saying he needs to get all the goals because we haven't been really short for goals. I think it's more just producing in terms of leading both ends on the floor, offense and defense, and just being a presence on the power play as well as the second line, and really leading by example because he's our captain.
Okay, yeah, I like everything you just said. John Tavares, since coming to Toronto, has 167 points in 167 games played for the Maple Leafs. That's exactly spot on a point per game. So he's not quite at the point per game mark this year. So I'll say that he has some room, some margin to improve his production, but I don't necessarily see him having a much bigger impact than what we've seen in years past. I mean, he's in his prime years right now, and he's been a point per game player for the past 2 seasons in Toronto. I'd expect him to continue being around a point per game player. So I'd like to see him produce more, but I don't really think that we're going to see too much more from him. Maybe on the score sheet when it comes to scoring goals, but the points, I don't really see that total going up.
Yeah, and I mean, Salvatore says great comment here. He says silent stats. I think that Yo Mama saying he'll play strong defensive game. Hopefully, I think that Leafs fans, with your comment you just said, we understand that he brings a lot to the table, and it just isn't scoring goals or having more than being a point per game player. So if he can keep up the play he's doing so far, and he's the captain, so if he's a captain on the team at the top of their division, clearly he's leading by example, and there's a lot of great leadership and player presence in the locker room. So let's just hope that continues.
Duncan Russell says Keith pointed out that Tavares is underrated, and he's been playing very well defensively. I've noticed that defensively, John Tavares has looked stellar at times. He's coming back. He's lifting the sticks, getting the pucks. You'd love to see what you see from John Tavares on a nightly basis, but the production, people just want more.
Yeah, I mean, when we pay him big money, people look at his stat line and be like, that's not enough. He should be a top 5, top 10 producer in the league. But I think, his game's more than that. It's predicated on a full 365-degree game. And I think that that's important for him. We got another comment in here. If anyone wants to complain about his capit, go look at Jeff Skinner.
Jeff Skinner's got a tough situation over there in Buffalo. He's getting scratched quite frequently, and Buffalo Sabres are paying him a hefty salary.
What's his salary?
I think it's like around $8 million a season, and and it might have been like 6 or 8 season contract as well. It was a long-term, big dollar contract. The Sabres are locked in with this guy, and he's just not producing at all, being scratched constantly.
That's a bad situation. He's probably going to get bought out or something. We'll retain part of his salary and trade him.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they may have to. But sticking with the John Tavares theme here, what would you consider to be a successful season for John Tavares?
That's a good question. I want you to take this one first.
Okay. Now, what I'm considering a successful season for John Tavares is staying on pace with point per game, but I want more than that. I want John Tavares to lead this team out of the North Division. I want John Tavares to lead this team further than they've gone in a very long time. I want John Tavares not only to produce defensively, offensively, but he just has to be the leader that helps get this team out of Canada.
I mean, I think that's most important for me too, is that, he leads by example down the stretch, and he leads our team to the glory land. And I'm not talking a Stanley Cup even. I'm just talking about winning a playoff series. I think that's the first big goal for the Leafs. And the only way we're going to do that if we have strong play from our captain, strong leadership from our captain. So I'd agree. I'd say that would be successful. Then we can get a couple playoff round wins and see how far these Leafs can go. But just have some success when it matters most.
Yep. I mean, you can say what you want to see from this player individually on the stat sheet, but ultimately, what matters most is what he's doing to help this team win. And it goes far beyond just his point totals. He's a leader. He's the captain of this team. He needs to produce, and he needs to be that presence in the locker room.
Yep. We got pushing his team through a couple rounds. Salvatore.
So point per game season to the semifinals in the playoffs. I like that, Duncan. Salvatore, I just want the President's Trophy. Now, in the President's Trophy, I think that's a trophy that means nothing. I mean, sure, you get the highest seed, but what's that usually? That doesn't really usually equate to much.
Yeah, I mean, a class example of a President's Trophy team that for years they came over the hump, but Washington, where they would do really well, or if not win the President's Trophy, come very close for multiple years, but then choke in the playoffs. And I don't think we want to turn in a team like that, because pretty soon we have 3-4 seasons like that. JT's 35. Our prime players are in their prime, 27, 28, and some of them could want to be out. So we got to win soon.
We do. Old School says guaranteed loss tonight, and I don't think I'd go that far. I don't think I'd go that far. This team's been facing a plethora of injuries all season long, and they faced a lot of adversity, and they've come out victorious more frequently than not.
Yeah, I mean, Old School, appreciate you bringing some realism here, because it's going to be a tough game. But I don't think anything's guaranteed in this season, and in hockey in general, you never know. But it's going to be a tough game. So I see where you're coming from.
So we have a comment here. VC scratched. I'll take this first. This is a guy that I was high on coming into this season, Jimmy VC. It's looked tough out there for him ever since he was moved off that line with Nylander and Tavares. He's had a difficult time producing. He's really had a difficult time doing anything. He's had 1 point in the last 16 games, and that was an assist on that Jason Spezza goal. We saw vintage Jason Spezza. Jimmy Vesey, he's going to be fighting for ice time, and it's an uphill fight. He's got to climb uphill because we have Alex Galchenyuk hasn't even come in the lineup. Engvall's looked better. It's going to be difficult for Vesey to get playing time.
Yeah, I think you said it right there. There's a lot of competition. I mean, adding Galchenyuk doesn't necessarily mean we want Galchenyuk on our third or fourth line lock. It just means there's one more player to add to that mix of bubble depth forwards that the Leafs have. And I think a guy like Travis Boyd, too, has taken a lot of Leaf fans by surprise. And no one at the start of the season was saying, oh, Travis Boyd's going to be a lock on our fourth line. He's going to score some big goals early on for the Leafs. So he's been a pleasant surprise, and that's definitely added, again, to the competition VC has to face. So I agree with you on that. Also, just want to get to Jason's comment here. He says, Jake, I know you're very high on VC, but do you think if he doesn't produce soon, it'll be time for him to be a healthy scratch? I think that's adding to the questions that people are wondering about VC. And I think those questions are going to keep coming and coming if he doesn't produce soon.
Well, you know what? I think the time has come. If a player's not producing and he goes on a stretch of 15 games without a point and a stretch where he's noticeably struggling, he looks frustrated, irritated, just all the time he's just struggling to get anything going. He's falling all over the place, trying to do stuff, nothing's working for him. It's time to scratch him. Maybe you see something in practice that gets him back into the lineup. But until that time comes, he's got to be a scratch. We have too many players that can produce playing in a depth role on this team.
Yeah, there's some more opinions in here. I mean, Barbanov hasn't scored much either. That's another.
Has not an NHL goal yet. I will say this about Barbanov. He looked a bit better the past couple games. He wasn't really noticeable in his first couple, but over the past 2 or 3 games that he's been playing in, he's been more noticeable. But that's also what happens when you play on a line with William Nylander. You're going to be more noticeable. He's really struggled making the transition from the KHL to the NHL, but we'll see what happens for him.
Yep. Yeah, and another to add to just the competition, we'll move on here. Nevin saying Galchenyuk, and I think there was another comment that he got sent down the Marlies, but Galchenyuk already playing well on the Marlies in his first game. Expect to get him a shot soon. I mean, that could happen. I mean, you sign a player, send down the Marlies, say prove yourself, and then he works his way up. He got drafted high just a few years ago, well, 4 or 5 years ago now, but he definitely still has the skill.
Yeah, I mean, he scored 30 goals back in 2015 for the Montreal Canadiens, a season that I remember quite vividly as a Maple Leafs fan. Wasn't a very pretty season, but Galchenyuk scored 30 goals, and ever since then, he's been on a steady decline with his production. But he's also played, now this Maple Leafs is going to be his 7th team since entering the league in 2012. That's got to be very tough to deal with mentally, moving all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Goes far beyond hockey. Like that's got to be so draining.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't have the right situation, I think professional sports, a lot of it is a player's career and development is really the situation they're put into. In some players, it's not about the skill. It's not about who they are. It's just that they just never have that perfect opportunity for them, whereas others do. And it is part of being a professional athlete.
Absolutely. You got to be put in situations to succeed. Mark Williamson says, smash like button, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for that, William. If you haven't already,
Mark,
smash that like button and hit the notification bell to be notified every
smash
time.
it.
Be notified every time we're live here on Maple Leafs Media. Got a bunch of other content coming out on a daily basis. And if you're watching this on Facebook, be sure to share this video. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It helps grow the brand.
Josh saying I need some swag. Josh, I have some, but I have to get more prepared next time. You're right. I mean, call me out on that. I do need it. Try to always rep with my toque here. But, I do. I have a flag. I'll put it back here next time. But thank you for that. I do need that. And you don't want to miss rib tattoo. Yeah, rib. We'll talk. Well, I don't know. Well, maybe we'll get Rib back on eventually. But for now, Rib's out in Cancun. He's on vacation.
Well, Clarkey, you do need some Leaf swag back there. I mean, maybe you could get a Maple Leafs Media mug from the Maple Leafs Media merch store.
Yeah, no, the Maple Leafs Media merch store actually. Have to order. I'm doing a big order soon, and when I do get it all in, I'll definitely be flashing out and show you guys the products I got. But there's a lot of great merch there, and I got some stimulus money from the government, so I'm going to spend it.
And if you're interested in seeing the Maple Leafs Media merchandise store, the link to that is in the description below. We got mugs and T-shirts out there. But we're going to get to a comment from Corey here. He says, I always said that Boyd works so hard, and I admire that in a player, a real grinder who has urgency and willpower to win the battles no matter the skill level as a points guy. Mad respect for Boyd. I love that comment, Corey. Travis Boyd has won a Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals. and he's going to be playing in just his 100th career game tonight. So, I mean, it's a milestone that not many people accomplish, so congratulations to him for that. But he has been an impact player here. He's been blocking shots, getting in dirty areas. I love what I see from Travis Boyd on a nightly basis.
Yeah, I mean, great comment from Corey, but I think I could just take a snippet from that and just summarize it right there. A real grinder who has urgency and willpower. Wow. Way to put it, Corey. That's a great set of words there because I think it's true. I mean, this guy comes on the ice, limited opportunities, limited chance to make an impact on the Leafs. And what does he do? He makes a huge impact, and he has solidified himself. Maybe not guaranteed starter for the whole season if he has a huge slump, but pretty damn close. So I think that he's done really well so far. And he's just a guy that I think, I mean, I don't know him personally, but I think he takes hockey very seriously, his role very seriously, and he knows what he needs to do to be successful.
Yep, I love what I see from him. He can play center, he can play the wing position. I like having Travis Boyd on this team. He's been playing on the power play at times, he can penalty kill. He can do a lot of things. He's invaluable to this team. Jake Ozzie says, "Can you see Dermott eventually being a permanent top pair defender?" The answer, sorry, no, not a top pair guy. I think his ceiling is about a top 4 defender. I like what I see from Travis Dermott. He's young, and he's got a lot of experience at his age, but I don't think he's quite a top pairing talent.
Yeah, I was trying to hold back a laugh just because at first I was like, is he saying he's top player? But at the same time, I think you do need to, I do need to think for myself when I react initially. I'm like, is Jake Ozzie crazy? But then I think, there are players as defensemen especially that take longer to develop in their career. And, maybe his first 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the league, he's a bottom 6 guy. But we've seen a guy like Muzzin, not necessarily that he's a top player, top defender on the Leafs, but he's been on a Stanley Cup winner, and I think in that second Stanley Cup he was definitely a top 4 defenseman on the team. So there's always room for improvement with defensemen, and even Hall, 28, but he's looking great. Like he's looking like a developing young player right now. So I mean, maybe one day. I don't know if he'll be on the Leafs though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't think he'll be a top pairing guy. I don't think he's going to be that top pairing guy, but I think that he's going to be a second pairing guy. I like Travis Dermott a lot. I met him. He's a
You
nice
see that
guy.
dog commercial he has? Wow, that's a great commercial.
I didn't see the dog commercial.
There's like I think it's pet food commercial, and I was surprised. I saw it the other night. I'm like, wow, he looks like a nice guy, just friendly. He had his dog, and I was like, wow, that's a nice commercial.
Well, at the outdoor Maple Leafs practice last year, he brought his dog onto the ice. But Travis Dermott last year at that practice, he was the last one to leave the practice, and he signed autographs for almost everyone. I got a selfie that I got the year prior signed by him. Super nice guy, and someone that I think the locker room, I think they love him.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. It seems like.
Moving to another defenseman on this team, Jake Muzzin. He's going to be suiting up in his 600th career game. This is a guy who's won 2 Stanley Cups with the Los Angeles Kings. He's had quite the career, and I think it's safe to say right now that we won the trade to bring Jake Muzzin over here.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just what the doctor ordered and then some for the Leafs. He's done a great job, and even if I think it was his 33rd birthday a couple of weeks ago, even if he is getting a bit older, I think that he's a type of defenseman where his game's not predicated on speed or agility. It's about being a shutdown defender, and I think that's what he was for LA for many years, and now what he is for Toronto. And he's been a very important part of our team, and I think that we definitely got to continue to support him as fans and look forward to what he can bring to the table. And it sucked. Remember last year when he went down against Columbus? That was brutal. I just hope that something like that doesn't happen again, knock on wood, because he's a very important player to our team.
Absolutely. That was a huge hit to the Toronto Maple Leafs in that series. He's like, if you look in our roster, our lineup right now, he's irreplaceable. Not talking in trades and everything. On this team, he's irreplaceable. Him and Justin Hall together, they've been outstanding together. That second defense pairing, who is our top shutdown pairing, they've been great together. Congratulations to Jake Muzzin on another accomplishment here. 600 NHL games. That's quite the feat.
Yeah. Yeah, we got another Duncan Russell. I guess this complements what we're talking about, Muzzin. Is this the best Leafs defense lineup in many years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I think absolutely it is. It's not just the top 4 pairings, but it's the depth as well. We have players that are ready to come in and fill the void of other players that go down with injuries. We're not relying on players that probably shouldn't be playing at the NHL level.
Yeah, that's a great point. And just to go over a couple more quick comments here. Muzzin is the best D on the Leafs. Yeah, maybe. You could make the argument for that. Nevin, when Muzzin got injured against Columbus, had a funny feeling that we were losing that series. I did too. And I know you did. I remember you texted me saying, Muzzin's down, we're done.
Yeah, that
hurt.
That was such a huge hit. Such a huge loss to this team. I mean, we didn't have the players necessary to come in and fill the void for Jake Muzzin. And really right now, there's not someone that could come in to fill his void and play his role the exact same way. But there's players that can come in and play games for a couple. Not for the whole season, though.
Yep.
Thoughts on TJ Brodie and Zach Bogosian? They've been solid this year, in my opinion. Let's start off with TJ Brodie. Our 4-year contract, $20 million. So an annual average value of $5 million a year. TJ Brodie, I'd like to bring him in. He's top 2 pairing player on this team. He should probably be a top 4 guy. He'd be better paired with a guy like Justin Hall or Jake Muzzin. But I will say this: he's looked much improved. These past few games. That last game against Edmonton, he made multiple great defensive plays, shutting down Connor McDavid. He forced Connor McDavid to the outside. And then that one play, it was like an NHL video game when you press the 2 top buttons and you lie down, and he just shot the puck up to Jason Spezza with a stick. It was an amazing assist from TJ Brodie. I like what I've seen from him.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at the start of the year I was kind of ripping on him a bit, saying like he just hasn't had a good start. And I think, it was tough for him, a new team, and there's always going to be bumps in the road, especially at the start. So I think that he faced adversity, but he's starting to overcome it. And I have to agree with you. I think the last few games, you could even stretch it back 5-6 games. He's played really well, and he's generated some offense, shots on net. But more importantly, and what we need from our defenders is he's played defense, and he's really been a presence on the defensive end. And I think that he can really have an impact on this team. And we have high expectations for him, maybe too high as being a top 2 defenseman on our team, but I think going forward, if he continues to improve, then it'll be a solid rock on the Leafs, and that'll be great because we haven't had great defense in the previous years. That's for sure.
Yeah, and the next guy, Zach Bogosian. I know you like some Bogo. I know you like some Bogosian. Zach Bogosian. He's on that bottom pairing. He's missed 1 game. Healthy scratch, give him some time off, some load management. He's a guy who's never played a full 82-game season. He's always facing injuries. But I think that he's been really solid on that 3rd pairing with Travis Dermott and at times with Mikko Lehtonen. I think that Bogosian's been very good, and come playoff time, he's going to use his body a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see even give him a bit more rest just because, he is a bit older and we don't want to see him get injured. But I think, yeah, like you said, he brings a lot of experience to this blue line. And when we can plug him with a Dermott or a Lehtonen, who maybe don't have as much experience, but, Bogosian's never – the one thing about Bogosian is, yeah, he's not going to usually create big plays or generate a lot of offense, but that's not what we need from him. The one thing about Bogosian, I think, is that he doesn't make many mistakes, other than sometimes dumb penalties. I don't think he makes that many mistakes. Like, he knows how to play defense, and he's played that position for so long that I think his experience is very valuable to the Leafs.
Yeah, he's good with the puck on his stick. He seems to make a lot of smart decisions, and that's like you said, that's what you want to see. He plays his role perfectly, so he's been valuable to this team. I like the signing then, and I like it now. Nevin says Bogo is going to run some guys over come playoff time.
Like to see that. Someone having their head down, Bogosian just runs him over.
Yep. Duncan Russell says, a comparison to last year. You could say Tyson Barrie was upgraded by TJ Brody, and Ceci, don't get me started on Cody Ceci, was upgraded by Zach Bogosian. Hall has really stepped up. Muzzin's still amazing. Big improvement overall. And I think that sums it up perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, great comment, Duncan. Appreciate that.
Let's continue though. We can't do a pregame show for an Edmonton Oilers Toronto Maple Leafs game without talking about Connor McDavid.
Oh,
Connor McDavid against Toronto Maple Leafs in 5 games this year. And this is a recurring theme, more than just this season. He lights up the Toronto Maple Leafs quite frequently. We saw 2 potential goal of the year candidates in 2 straight years. That one last year where he deked around Morgan Riley, and then this year when he danced through our entire team going coast to coast. Connor McDavid in 5 games against Toronto this year, 3 goals, 4 assists for a total of 7 points. I expect some more of the same, no?
Yeah, I mean, I think McDavid's going to come out strong. And I think we were talking about it at the start of the show. A lot of people were noticing his facial expressions at the end of the game. He was not happy, very angry. He's the leader of Edmonton. He's got 40 points. Let's call it what it is. He's the best player in the league. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I still think, I know hockey's a team sport, but he has the power to change a game. And I mean, when he went coast to coast not the other game, but a while ago, when he went coast to coast against the Leafs last time we were in Edmonton, you got to give kudos. That was an amazing goal. One of the best goals I've seen in a long time. And he could do that very well again tonight. He could do that 2-3 times if we're not careful.
Yeah, he's amazing. The things that he can do, it's awesome to watch. He's a fun player to watch, and like you said, he can absolutely take over a game. A comparison would be like a big running back in football, someone who's going to wear you down. He's a fast, speedy guy. He's got a good-sized body. Connor McDavid is the best player in hockey right now, and what'd you say? He has over 40 points this year.
I think 40, yeah.
So he's gonna be a factor, and every time he touches the ice.
Yeah, and I think Leafs fans are prepared for that tonight. Body check McDavid, old school says body check. We can catch him. I mean, I don't know if Bogosian can lay out a nice hit on him because they just fly by him. So it's difficult to hit the guy because he's just so quick.
Yeah, I mean, that is easier said than done. Checking Connor McDavid, easier said than done, because you go to make the hit, and the next thing you know, he's on the other side behind you. He's too fast. He's unreal. It's amazing to watch him. Very skilled player, definitely. Be prepared to see his skating legs. He'll be out there. He'll be burning some gas. He'll be fast tonight.
Yep.
So, want to do some player predictions? Let's do player predictions, and then we can do some score predictions. I want to know everyone's player predictions for tonight's game. What do you all have? Clarkey, let's hear yours first.
On the theme of McDavid, I know you texted me to send in the predictions, and I was just thinking about him tonight, that he's going to cause some havoc. And, he gets more assists than goals, but I definitely think McDavid's going to score 2 goals tonight. I think that he's going to crack in a few goals, and he's angry, and he's going to find a way to score. I think one's going to be on a breakaway 1-on-1, and I think another's just going to be a pure snipe.
Okay. And what's that next one you got there?
Oh yeah. So I think that we could see Justin Hall get in a fight. I mean, we didn't see Kachuk, the actual Kachuk that slammed his stick like a 2-year-old get in a fight with Muzzin, but we saw his little brother Brady try to fight Muzzin after some revenge, making him very angry a few weeks ago. So I think that they're going to go after Hall because we saw Hall rough up one of the Oilers there in the middle of the game. So I think someone's going to go after Hall. They're going to want a piece of him.
Well, that was Tyler Ennis after he ran into Jack Campbell in his first game back. I'm going to show the clip here. I like what I saw from Justin Hall doing this. I mean, you gotta patrol that crease.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's just a guy sticking up for his player, and you can't put up with someone that's going to run your goalie. So that's what Hall's got to do. Thank you, Hall, for doing that.
Absolutely. I like what I saw there. My player predictions, I've got John Tavares to score 2 goals. John Tavares had 2 assists the other night. He's got 6 goals on the season, and people want to see him produce more. I think he's going to produce more. 2 goals for John Tavares. I think that the other night it's just going to ignite a fire for him, and he's going to use that momentum going forward. Just watch John Tavares produce more frequently for the remainder of the season. And then Connor McDavid, yes. The theme of the night, right? Connor McDavid. You said 2 goals for Connor. I'm saying Connor McDavid has a 4-point night tonight.
I hope not.
I mean, gotta call a spade here. He's the best player in hockey right now, and at times he can be unstoppable. When he turns it on, there's not a player who plays at quite his level.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that happen. We got to be worried, but we could also say the other way. If McDavid does not have a big game and Draisaitl, he's quiet, Edmonton might be shut out again. Like, they really depend on these 2 guys. So I think it's boom or bust for those boys in Edmonton, and I think we're going to see it tonight. We're going to have to see. But 4 points, that's a big prediction. That's a big prediction.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a Maple Leafs fan, but you got to appreciate what Connor McDavid does out there on a nightly basis. Let's see what some comments here say. We have Matthews is a better complete player. McDavid is all offense and no back check.
Wow, Nick Roberts, hot take. Hot take.
Matthews is making his case. He's definitely making his case. But I don't think you can crown him the best player in hockey yet. I don't think it's time yet. The time may come, but then again, Connor McDavid is just outstanding.
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants to say, I think Matthews is better than McDavid, but I have to be honest. In my true opinion, I do think McDavid is better than Matthews. I just think that McDavid, one thing that he's just so much better than everyone else in the league is skating. Like, when you see him skate, he's so quick. He's so quick, and his edges are so good. Like, he's just point to point in a couple seconds, and I think that's not his only skill, but that alone is like a freak of nature when he's on skates. Freak of nature.
Frank Rusty Nail says Edmonton takes this game tonight. I hate to make this prediction. Leafs will then take the next game, even though I'd like to see the Leafs take all 3. Well, that's interesting. Let's see our score predictions tonight. Everyone in the comments, shoot in your score predictions.
Shoot them in. Let's get the score predictions going. Everyone shoot your predictions in. Let's go. Let's get it going here.
Clarkey, what do you got for us?
I got 4-2 Edmonton. I think that what we saw the other night was a great game, but I think that Edmonton's going to come out with a lot of hate, a lot of anger. They're upset. We have to admit that Edmonton is upset, and I think they're going to be more hungry than us tonight. I think they're going to beat us 4-2. Like I said, McDavid 2 goals. I could see one coming in from Draisaitl. I could also see someone chip in at then. Maybe a Zach Kassian, a scrappy goal out front. And then for the Leafs, I think I'm thinking Nylander again. I'm taking the Swedish Fish again tonight. And I'm also going to say Ilya Mikheyev is going to get a goal.
Nice. That'd be 3 straight games for William Nylander to score a goal, and Mikheyev, some people can get off him a bit. Myself, yep, we both have the Edmonton Oilers winning tonight. I mean, not only is this Maple Leafs team facing injuries, and the injury bug's going to catch up to them eventually if they keep facing this many injuries, but 5-3 Edmonton. The Edmonton Oilers were shut out the other night by the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Edmonton Oilers don't get shut out very often. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they're going to give us their best performance tonight. They are going to come out with extra fire lit under them. Like, they looked so pissed off the other night. And I expect them to take out that anger that you mentioned earlier tonight against the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's hard to bet against Edmonton tonight.
Yeah, I mean, we're both going Edmonton. I mean, I get criticized a lot, especially me, for saying that I always pick the Leafs, but I'm picking Edmonton tonight. I'm picking Edmonton. So are you. So let's get to some comments here, though. What do we got here? Hockey Kid. Or no, Matthews is top 8.
I think definitely. 5-2
Yeah, for
Leafs,
sure. 5-2 Leafs.
4-1 Leafs, 5-4 Leafs. Serena says 3-1.
Leafs after. She says Leafs after.
Okay,
So
3-1
we got
Leafs.
4 Leafs, 0 Edmonton. 4 Leafs,
Old
0
school,
Edmonton.
1 Edmonton, 4-1 Edmonton. 5-3 Toronto. 3-2 regulation win for Edmonton. 3-2 Edmonton overtime. 4-2 Toronto. 4-1 Leafs. 8-0 Oilers.
Come
wow.
on, John. Come on. This is a Leafs channel. Don't scare us. Like, gonna give me nightmares here.
6-2 Oilers. Leafs will give them the game.
Okay, we got 7-5. 7 Leafs, 5 Oilers right now.
Jake Ozzie says, I think you're overrating Edmonton's goalie. Tonight, Mikko Kostinen's getting the start, and I have no faith in Mikko Koskinen. I think the better of the two goaltenders is Mike Smith, who's streaky at times, and he is up there in age. I'm not overrating Edmonton's goalie at all. I'm saying that I simply think the Edmonton Oilers will outscore Toronto tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Jake Ozzie brings a good point. That's definitely a weak point of Edmonton. But, yeah, I think both our predictions are predicated on the fact that we just think Edmonton's going to come out and have a bigger game. Well, remains to be seen. But, yeah, Koskinen's not a very good goalie, but it's not like we got our number one in. I mean, Hutch may be better than Koskinen or whatever, how you say his name. But, you know, there's going to be goals tonight. There's going to be goals.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be goals tonight for sure. Koskinen, I have little to no faith in Mikko Koskinen. And then Michael Hutchinson, we've seen a bit of a resurgence from him this year. I mean, the team in front of him has been better, and he's won 2 of his 3 games. The Toronto Maple Leafs have 3 goalies with a winning record this year. That's something that's very valuable to have. We can rely on Michael Hutchinson if need be, and tonight we need Michael Hutchinson to step up if he's getting the start, and we need the team in front of him to be clutch for Hutch as well.
Clutch for Hutch. I like that. Brooksy, gotta say a great comment in here. Smash the like button. Please smash it. Helps out so much. And, you know, we're trying to get to everyone's comments, and we got a lot to talk about still. Game's not for another 40 minutes, so we're going to be in here right to the start of the game. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of things happening, all things Leafs, all things NHL, all things Jake V. And if you haven't already, I can't point to him right. He's got a sweet store. I'm about to buy like $600 worth of stuff off of it. I'm paying out of my own pocket because it's sweet stuff, but once I get it all, I'm going to show it up across my room. It's just going to be all the Maple Leafs media merch. So if you haven't already, check that out. But what are we talking about next, Jake?
Well, the link to that merch store you mentioned is in the description below if you want to check it out. There's designs for Canada's team, because this is Canada's team, and we're going to prove it when we finish first in the North Division. There's Keep Calm and Belief, my motto. And then there's the Wayne Train, which the Wayne Train, you all know, he's a very, very valuable piece. Bubble says, hope the Leafs win and embarrass Ronald McDonald. John Howard takes Toronto 6-5. That's a high-scoring game.
John Howard's thinking they're playing with the old school goalie pads. Saying
we need Clutchinson. Tommy says has to be a 5-3 regulation win for the Leafs if Hutch and Koskinen play. So, you know what's nice to see? More people are showing faith in Michael Hutchinson.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, but it also brings up the fact that Leafs Nation within a week can go from ripping on a guy and basically saying he shouldn't be on our roster to, oh, it's not bad. Oh, maybe he can be our backup goalie. Maybe Campbell can be our starter and Hutch can be our backup. Like, give me a break. He's looking good, and we can't take anything away from him. But let's not forget who we actually need back in net eventually. And let's just be thankful that for now Hutchison is filling the void, and he's doing a damn good job at it.
Yeah, he is. You know what? That's funny. People are easily persuaded. Recency bias. It's like they forget everything in the past, which, I mean, it can be good sometimes. But we got to remember, Michael Hutchinson. He has a 2-1 record this season, and you know, this is fourth start for the team in Toronto this year. Last year, he struggled a lot and got criticized constantly, but the team in front of him this year is much better, and I think that's giving him more confidence. And those 2 wins that he's got under his belt, just going to add to that confidence as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing his job, and I think the most important thing is he's alleviating pressure both off Campbell and off Anderson by, he can get wins. We don't need to rush our goalies back if they're not 100%. I mean, what did he say? I mean, Hutch did give us a lot of trauma last year. LOL. Yeah, it's true. But I mean, a lot of Leafs fans didn't want to touch him with a 10-foot pole. And then we see a few good games from him, and we're saying, oh, Hutch could be our backup. Oh, Hutch could be our starter. Like, give me a break. A lot of these Leafs fans jump the gun way too much. And I'm one of them sometimes, but not on this. Not on this.
You know what? Andrew says, how about Anderson? He's the GOAT on the team. He is maybe not the GOAT on the team, but he is he's the backbone of this team. Frederick Anderson, Steady Freddy. He's been the rock back there for this team for a couple of years now. He hasn't got much time to rest and recover, and he's played the 3rd most minutes in the NHL last season. So really, having him resting up and not rushing him back from injuries, that can be very beneficial to him.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Trout, on the contrary, says he can be ... So yeah, he's a lot of people still agree on that comment that he's the GOAT, the backbone. But there is also some Leafs fans and some question mark that come into play with Anderson if he's always there for us. I think in the regular season, 100%, and I think it comes down to the playoffs. And that's how important we need to have him rested. So when it comes playoff time, he's ready to
go. Steven says Campbell must get the start after the shutout, and he wasn't practicing with the team. I don't think he's getting the start. He's doubtful for tonight. I think it's going to be Michael Hutchinson in goal for the Maple Leafs tonight.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that Hutch will start, and it'll probably be a tough game. It'll be a tough game.
Jake Ozzie says, if anyone deserves a Hattie, it's Jimmy Vesey. Didn't Jake predict 16 goals for Vesey at the start of the season?
Whoa.
I predicted.
He's coming back on your predictions.
I predicted 17 for him, and it's not looking too pretty right now. He has 2 goals, I believe. Moving him down from that second line, away from William Nylander and John Tavares, that hurt him. And really, what we've seen from him, it's inexcusable. 1 point in a 16-game span, that being an assist. That's not going to cut it in the NHL.
No, it won't. And I mean, Leafs took a gamble on getting him, rolling the dice, but so far he hasn't. I don't know if he'll be back next year. He hasn't looked too good, but hopefully he can turn it around.
Salvatore, goalies are one of the most important parts of a team's foundation. Do you agree or disagree with this comment?
And how can you disagree with this? Got it. I gotta agree, especially as a Leaf fan. We've seen some of the goalies of the past. They still give me nightmares. So
Mm-hmm.
100%. I agree. How about you?
Yeah, definitely. There's no denying it. Like, look at the goalies we've had in the past, and look at the results of those seasons. It's obvious. You need a good goaltender if you're going to go far. Look at some of the goaltenders that have won Stanley Cups recently. You had Bennington. Uh, Fleury's won a couple. This is going a couple years back now. Jonathan Quick when he won.
Quick singing. Yeah, he was.
Corey Crawford. Like, these goalies that win Stanley Cups, they're foundational pieces for a team.
Yeah. You need a great goalie to win a cup. You can't outscore a team.
Yeah, it's not like you can outscore a team in the regular season, but it's not sustainable throughout. Like, if you're gonna rely on just outscoring teams, more often than not, you're gonna be a streaky team.
Yeah, I think that we resonate with that comment a lot. We've been streaky in the past because we tried to outscore.
Frank Rusty Nils says if the Leafs make any ads before the trade deadline, keep an eye on the week of March 19th or the week of March 26th. If I'm wrong, everyone come and bash me, and I'll admit the mistake. We'll hold you to that, Rusty. But I could see that too. I think that if you're going to make a trade, you do it a couple weeks before the trade deadline in this pandemic season. Anyone coming from the States to play in Canada, there's a 14-day quarantine period, and you just want to get comfortable with your new surrounding team environment. The season's already shortened, so yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that too, but Rusty Nails, you can't make a comment like that, then not throw some names in the pot, not throw some ideas. You can't say at least you're going to make a big move maybe those 2 weeks, but then not say what the move is going to be. So shoot what you think a move the Leafs should do or what you think they could do. Anyone else, if you got any ideas at trade deadline, shoot them in. I'd like to see. Or don't do anything.
I've got some ideas.
Let's hear it.
There's a video I did recently. It was Philip
Oh,
Forsberg.
okay.
Philip Forsberg. I think that you'd have to give up a pretty substantial amount to get him. But the other night on this post-game show that I had, someone brought up a name that has won a Stanley Cup with the Carolina Hurricanes back in 2006, a name that he interests me. He plays on Buffalo right now. A veteran player, Eric Stahl. I think I'd like to bring Eric Stahl in for a year. That's a player that might interest me.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Eric Stahl is the only thing is, would we have too many old guys? If we brought in Eric Stahl, we'd have a Spezza, Thornton, and Eric Stahl. I mean, that's kind of old, but at the same time, he does bring a lot of experience, and he's a guy like Spezza. He's a former All-Star, former one of the best players in the league, so he could bring a lot of skill to the team, and I'm sure we'd get him for dirt cheap. So, maybe entertain that.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's little downside in bringing in Eric Stahl. He's a veteran, and you look at our veterans on this team: Wayne Simmons, Joe Thornton, and Jason Spezza. The one thing that's missing from all three of their resumes is a Stanley Cup. Eric Stahl has a Stanley Cup. He's been through the whole playoff thing. He's won a Stanley Cup. He knows what it takes to get there. I think that would be a great piece to bring in for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can make a case for that for sure. But, when I'm going with it, I'd just say don't do anything. I'd say I agree with Jack Trout. No trades. Let's see how the team's performed so far. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Just leave it. And if we have a bad end of the season or we're not successful in the playoffs, blow it up. I'm not saying blow up the whole team, but trade some key parts, do something, because we're not waiting around. But we got another question about Eric Stahl. What's his cap hit? That's interesting because I was thinking that. I'll look it up.
It's in the 1 million range, I'm pretty sure. It's a pretty low cap.
He's 36.
36, yep. And
what about Mark? I mean, we could bring the whole family in. Eric, Mark, and Jordan.
No.
Why not? Get the whole Stalls in. That'd be like 100%.
The salary of
chemistry.
them, the salary, you gotta consider the salary here. What is his cap again? Do you have it?
I'm still trying to. I put sats in instead of cap. 1 sec. In 2016, it was 9.5 million. Now it's still pretty high. It's 3.25.
3.25. We have wiggle room. We can make some moves to bring in Eric Stahl. I'd think about doing it. I'd consider doing it. I think this is the last year of his contract as well.
Yeah,
So
it is.
I'd look into it if I was Toronto.
Yeah, I'm saying though, if you bring in Eric, you got to bring in Jordan. You got to bring in Mark. You got to bring them all in.
You can't just bring one brother home, right? Pro Guide Entertainment says, "Hey Jake, I agree. Bring in Eric Stahl. Trade for Forsberg. Imagine him on our team. We need a better number one goalie who is a proven playoff winner." I don't think that there's a goalie on the market that's gonna instantly boost you. I know that John Gibson, there's been some talk about it, but I don't really see Anaheim parting ways with him. Frederik Andersen, you're not going to get a better goalie on the trade market than Frederik Andersen. So that's your best option.
Last thing I'd like to do is trade Anderson, and then we just get worse goaltending. Like, I know you can never do this with a trade because that's the part of the trade is you're rolling the dice no matter what. But I would only trade Anderson or trade for goalie if we knew we were going to get a better goalie and we knew a guy that was going to be better than Anderson. The bar's already up here, so that's going to be difficult to do. But I see where Pro Hockey Guide's going with that.
Yeah. He says trade Freddie and get a solid goalie. I mean, Frederik Andersen, he has been a solid goalie for this team. He's been the backbone of this team. Look at the teams he's had in front of him. They score a lot of goals, but they also defensively have not been good. They've not been good defensive teams. Been a lot of sloppy play, a lot of turnovers that are costly. And Frederik Andersen, he's been the backbone for our team here.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Frank Rusty Nail says, Jake and Clarkey, keep tabs on Travis Dermott and Alex Kerfoot. These two were involved in trade talks before the season started. I'm saying 4 players being involved in big trades: Dermott, Kerfoot, Engvall, and don't rule out Nylander. Interesting. I mean, these are all players that
Hot take by Nails.
they're all players that could be traded eventually. I don't really see us trading away William Nylander though. That's the one. Like right now, this season, I don't see us trading away William Nylander.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that. Another thing with Rusty's comment is I think he's right that those guys are probable and being one of the most likely to be traded. But let's be realistic. What type of return would we get for those guys? Not a whole lot. Other than Nylander, Kerfoot, maybe something decent. But Engvall and Dermott, I don't know how much we're actually going to get back for them.
No.
So we have to consider that too in a trade. Like, we're not going to be trading them for a top player unless we're going to give away all our picks, which I don't think Dubas is going to do.
You might get a late round pick back for those two guys.
Yeah, so we got to consider that.
Yeah, I mean, they're just depth pieces for us right now. There's no need in trading them away, especially if we're trying to make sure we're equipped for a deep playoff run this year. Pro Guide Entertainment asks, what happens if Freddie walks for nothing? And honestly, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I'm kind of expecting that. Frederik Andersen, he's over 30 years old, and his contract, it expires this year. The Toronto Maple Leafs are in a tough cap situation, and it's going to be very difficult to pay Frederik Andersen. And based off of his performance, if he performs well this year, he's only going to want more money.
Yeah, it's simple as that. I mean, the one thing that I'd say to counter both your points, though, is the one thing is that I don't know how big the market's going to be, especially, let's face it, in the world we live in right now. It might still be limited what players can get on the market, free agency. Is there going to be big money floating around for players? That's something we have to consider. But I do think that you're right. If he has a great season, even if he's on the other age of 30, we know there's a lot of great teams in this league that are dying for a solid goaltender. And let's call it what it is. Leafland will be upset if he's gone, but we'll notice this right away. He's a damn good goalie. So anyone that's saying he's not a good goalie, he's not a solid top 10 goalie, especially in the regular season, top 5. In the playoffs, then he could drop off, that's for sure, but hopefully not this year. But we'll notice right away. Mark my words. This February, it's March already. March 1st, 2021. I'm saying that right now. If he walks for free and we don't fill the void, we're going to be regretting it.
I agree. I mean, Jack Campbell, he has room to grow. I like Jack Campbell. I think he's a good, serviceable second option. But the thing about him, and he could very well be the starter next season. Let's not speculate about that. It's early. Jack Campbell has never been a starter in the NHL. So that's very concerning. That's a red flag if you're going to go in next season with him being that starting goalie for the Toronto Maple Leafs. You will notice it when Frederik Andersen is gone.
Yeah. I mean, we're all tough on him, but I think majority, I'm seeing a lot of comments here. Majority of Leafland knows what he brings to this team. And he has fallen short. We have to call, I'm not saying that Anderson's been perfect. In the playoffs, there has been some choke along with the rest of the Leafs. But we have to call what it is. He's been our backbone.
Yeah, he has been. He has been a backbone. There's no replacement if we want a cup this season. Exactly. Jack Trout says there's going to be a huge shift in goalies across the league. There very well could be. I like this prediction from William. You hit 500 subscribers before the end of the week. Interesting. Everyone like and click that notification bell up there if you haven't already to be notified every time new content comes out from Maple Leafs Media.
Like it.
The worst thing for the rest of the NHL is if the Leafs win. All the chirps stop. That's true. Do you think that the Toronto Maple Leafs, outside of our market, are the most hated team in the NHL?
Yeah, I think if not the most hated, one of the most hated. I'd say that we're kind of like the Dallas Cowboys of football a bit because let's call, I'll say I'm part of this too. Kind of got a ludicrous fan base that thinks we're going to win every year. And then when we do really bad, we just rip on everyone on the whole team and the league.
This is the year.
And we always say it's the year. So there's a lot of stereotypes about Leaf fans. But they hate us because they hate us because we got the most fans in the league. We're the biggest team, best stadium, best players, best logo, best jersey, best everything, best mascot, Carlton the Bear. So you hate us because you ain't us.
Yeah, we got the best fans. That's what matters most.
On display in the comments tonight. I mean, I love the participation tonight. It's been great.
Absolutely. There's a question about William Nylander here. I'm trying to find it. Where was it? It was about William Nylander. Okay, anyways, it's just about trade talks with William Nylander. Do you think the Maple Leafs explore trading William Nylander this year?
I don't know. I mean, we've gone through this so many times about Nylander and people talking about Denver and Nylander. Yeah, well, I got to go back to that. Yeah, it's the passion that unites us all. I think that's a great comment by Pro Guide. But this is another thing about the Maple Leafs fans. Another theme is when we smell blood in the water with a player, whether we think he's overpaid, we think he's got more value that we can trade away, like Nylander. We don't think we need him, like Nylander. A lot of Leaf fans. I'm not saying I believe that, but that's what a lot of Leaf fans think. We get our pitchforks out, and we get really mad really quick. And I don't think that's great about this fan base either. But I'd say no, keep him. Don't trade him.
Okay, can I ask you a question? And I just want a one-word answer. It's yes or no. Are the Toronto Maple Leafs a better team when William Nylander is on the ice?
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly. So why trade away a player that makes your team better? It doesn't make sense. He's not valued on the trade market the same as he is here. $6.7 million contract. I like that. It's the best contract of all the core four. You can look at every one of the other contracts and you can pick something out. Mitch Marner he gets around $11 million at the right wing position. Austin Matthews, kind of a bridge contract. His contract's going to be up in a few years, and it's up in the air, I guess, whatever he chooses to do. John Tavares, he's locked in long term, and there is a no trade clause on that contract. If you think his production isn't living up to the hype, that's for you to decide, but it's not going to get much better. So William Nylander is the best contract of the core four. Do you agree with that statement?
Yeah, I would. I would say the best bang for your buck. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Cannot trade Nylander. There's some Leafs fans that hate Nylander more than they love the Leafs. I mean, that very well may be true. That actually might be true. That might be a true comment.
Yeah, there's a lot of Leaf haters.
How many teams have $7 million cap space? Who do you think is the best contract on this team? I think it's Riley or Hyman. Who do you think is the best?
Well, Hyman's contract's about to expire, so I don't know if we're gonna have to pay him more. But I think I don't. What's Riley's contract? I don't have to get out the Leafs contracts here and look at them.
I believe he's getting paid $5 million. Can you share your screen when you do that, and we'll take a look at this in depth. We'll take a look at this question. Who do you think is the best contract on the team? So Clarkey's gonna pull something up, and we'll share the screen with you.
All right.
Salvatore says Thornton. I mean, he's on the league minimum, so it's a very good contract.
Can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes, we can. Here it is. So here are the Maple Leafs.
Let's see if they can see it. No, I don't think they can. Actually, yeah, okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, everyone, they can see it.
All right. So we got the contracts here. So first we got Austin Matthews, 23. He's 14.3% of the cap. He's got a contract 11.6 mil. I mean, you're paying for what you get. And I think there was a comment about that we're paying the big guys because they produce. So we got Matthews, Tavares, Marner, each of them well above 10 mil. Let's say 11 mil each, basically. And then we got Nylander next at 6.9 mil. So 7 mil. And then Kerfoot, 3.5 mil for the next few years, which is decently high for a third liner. Hyman at 2.5 mil, 2.2 mil, and he's up at the end of this season. Mikheyev, 1.6 mil.
That Mikheyev one's, honestly, it's up there as one of the best on this team, I believe.
Yeah, and if you think about 2% of the cap, like this is what really kills us here is we got 14%, 13%, 13%. Like that's what kills us, but we have to pay those guys. Yeah. Nylander's a bit in the mix, but then we go Mikheyev, and these are all third, fourth liners, and they're getting paid like you can't complain about any of these contracts really. But
how about Jack Campbell's contract down there?
Jack Campbell's 1.6 mil. Anderson's 5 mil.
Yeah. So I mean,
I don't know. Wayne Simmons is 1.5 mil. I think that's a great contract too.
It is.
There's such a drop off though if you think about it, like you're looking at the top end players, right? But then once you get to the third or fourth line bubble players, their contract drops off. I think Kerfoot's a bit high, don't you think?
His contract?
Yeah, I'd say he's a bit high there.
3.5. I mean, it could be lower, but it is what it is.
Okay, let's go to the defenseman. Wow, Muzzin's first. Muzzin's first at 5.6 mil, and we got him locked up till he's basically like 36.
That's what happens when you win and you're a shutdown defenseman.
I didn't know that, but yeah, he's still a top player for sure. Riley, well, that's a good comment then about Riley being a good contract because he's 5 mil and he's supposed to be your number one defenseman. In quotes. I don't know if he is or not, but I mean, he's expiring soon too, so we got some concerns here. Then we got Brody, 5 mil too. Hall, 2 mil. I think someone said he's a steal in there. That's good. Hall at 2 mil.
Yep.
Bogosian, 1 mil. What do you think of this?
I like the Thornton comment that I saw earlier. Getting paid the league minimum. That's amazing that we brought him in to play at the left wing position there. I I also really like the Ilya Mikheyev contract. Ilya Mikheyev, he he took a pay cut, significant pay cut to stay here another year. There's a lot of interesting contracts there. Morgan Riley's a good one as well, but I like Jack Campbell. Those are probably my top 4 on the team right now.
Yeah, I think those are some good points in here. I think let's get to some comments. Wayne Train, vintage Spets at that cost. Production, yeah, Spets. I think a lot of people are happy about Spets' contract.
Hall is a steal.
Hall is a steal. Yeah. Hutch. How much does Hutchison make? Oh no, Kerfoot. It's $1 million too high. Maybe so. I mean, if we think of when we were paying Kadri too, like Kadri was like $4 or $5 million. So you have to pay for some of those players where they're bubble second or third line.
Everyone says Spez's beautiful contract bypassed. Yeah, Spez's contract's great, but I gotta say Thornton's what you're getting from Thornton. It's the league minimum. It's the same thing as Spezza.
Yeah, $700K.
He's playing on the top line right now. He's at a point per game pace this season, so it's hard to argue with Joe Thornton.
Yeah, and there's a lot of comments. Matthew's out tonight. If he's more hurt than not, it's good he's out, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you want to keep him you want to get him fully healthy. Got to get him fully healthy.
Yep.
I think all the Leafs fans choose Nylander to be traded because he's the best trade chip Dubas has, regardless of what his value is around the league. He's best trade chip right now from the core.
That's a fair point. What were you going to say, sir?
I mean, if you're going to lose one of the core 4, and you like no cap considerations, it'd probably be William Nylander.
Yeah.
But like the other teams around the league don't value him the same as Toronto. For those people that think you're going to get a top pairing guy for William Nylander, you're sadly mistaken. You're not going to get a top pairing guy or a starting goaltender for William Nylander.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's a good point by Rusty, though. It's kind of like addition by subtraction, where you're just looking at the team and saying, well, we're not going to trade this guy, or this guy, so it's got to be this guy, and that happens to be Nylander.
Absolutely. So it's 10 minutes to game time, and we've been on here for a while. We'll go over our predictions one more time, and then we'll head out of here. So score predictions for tonight. If you haven't already, drop them in the comments section. Because we saw some people take the Oilers, but for the most part, it was Toronto.
7-5, 8-5 Toronto. Yeah.
That was the prediction for the score of the predictions, the balance.
Yeah.
So Snipes, what do you got?
4-2 Toronto loses to Edmonton. I was going to say Toronto wins, but I think Edmonton's going to win. 4-2 Edmonton. Hopefully prove me wrong tonight. Prove me wrong tonight, Toronto. Just win. Go out and win. But I'm saying 4-2 Edmonton. Angry McDavid combined with, I think, an Edmonton team that's motivated and going to come out and beat us. But hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hope I'm wrong. Prove me wrong.
And I've got 5-3 Edmonton. You don't see that very often. 2 Maple Leafs fans saying the other team's going to win. It's like once in a blue moon that happens. 5-3 Edmonton. This isn't a team that gets shut out frequently. McDavid, Draisaitl, they're going to have an extra spark lit under them tonight. And with injuries in this Maple Leafs lineup, I think that's also going to play a part. 10 p.m., late start time for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're an East Coast team. I'm taking Edmonton here. The odds seem to be stacked up against the Toronto Maple Leafs, but I hope they prove us wrong, like you said.
Yeah, we got a lot of score predictions. I'm sure some people shared already, but we can quickly run through them. 3-1 Oilers, 4-3 Leafs, 4-3 Leafs OT, 1 point.
5-4, 5-3, 6-3, 6-2, 3-2 Oilers, 6-2 Oilers.
Oof.
Tim Weaver to say Nylander scores again. I like that prediction, Tim. That'll be 3 straight games where Nylander's scored a goal.
Great prediction.
75 Leafs.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Go Leafs, go. Hey, go
Let's
Leafs,
go
go.
Bubbles.
Smash the like button and don't forget my trades. My Leafs trade by the trade deadline. We won't forget your dates. It was a couple weeks before. That's what I'm thinking as well. So smash that like button, as Frank Rusty Nails says. Hit the notification bell to be notified every time we're on here on Maple Leafs Media. Oh, Clarkey. Jake. Jack's disappointed in us tonight. We don't pick against Toronto too often, but
I never do. This is like my second or third time picking against Toronto.
4-3 overtime Oilers. 3-2 Oilers in overtime. I mean, I'd obviously, if it went to overtime, I'd still be disappointed, but I'd be content with getting a point tonight.
I wouldn't. It's going to be like 1 o'clock. Like, I don't know how many people are out here on the East Coast. We're in Ontario. I do not like this late game. I got to say, I do not like this late game. But what are we going to do? I mean, there's other people that live 3 hours behind us, so they got to get a game on regular time, too.
Yeah, and due to the time zone change and everything, there will not be a post-game show tonight live. Rather, I will record a reaction and I'll post that tomorrow morning at some point. So stay tuned for that. No post-game show tonight, but there will be a post-game show the next normal 7 p.m. Standard Time start. Looking forward to that. We'll give our player predictions and then we'll head out of here. So player predictions. I've got John Tavares to continue building on his solid performance of 2 assists the other game. This time he's going to have 2 goals. You want to see him score more goals? Add to that 6-point total this year? He'll do it tonight. Connor McDavid, 4-point game. He's going to be difficult to stop. What do you got, Clarkey?
I like your predictions, but yeah, I got McDavid 2 goals. I think one of them is gonna be a nice breakaway. He's gonna put it top Ched, and I think the other goal is just gonna be a snipe. I think McDavid is angry, and he's gonna get 2 goals. And I got Justin Hall fight. I think that they're gonna come at Hall early, and try to spark a little bit of energy. And I think Edmonton's gonna come out. Zach Kassian is gonna fight Justin Hall, and Hall's gonna beat him.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Justin Hall having a fight here. I mean, it'd be fun. So we have viewers from Newfoundland here. That's
Newfoundland. Shout out.
Awesome to see that. So one more thing before we head out. This will be Jake Muzzin's 600th career game. Travis Boyd 100th career game. Shout out to those two. Best of luck to the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. We both said that the Oilers were going to win with our predictions, but obviously we're hopeful to see something else. Clarkey, you want to close out the show tonight?
Yeah, I'd just say, it's been a great show. We've done a little bit longer than usual, but I've enjoyed it. It's gone by so quickly. I just love all the comments. Saskatchewan, wow. I mean, everyone coming from all around Canada. Sometimes I feel like people are just watching in the town we live in, but it's not the case. Everyone's from different places, and we're all just coming together. And I think the beauty of it all is we're coming together and watching the Leafs, and we're united as one for the team we love. So go Leafs, go, and let's see a great game tonight. And thank you for everyone for tuning in. And hopefully we see you guys and gals here again soon. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Everyone, smash the like button if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube to be notified every time new content's coming out here on Maple Leafs Media. And if you're on Facebook, make sure you share this video, tell a friend to tell a friend, and check out the Maple Leafs Media merchandise store. There's a new merchandise shop. Link to that is in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube. So it's been fun doing this preview here tonight. Something a little different. We usually do a post-game show, but like I said, there's not going to be a post-game show tonight due to the 10 p.m. start time, Eastern Standard Time. So everyone, go Leafs, go, and most importantly, stay safe out there. Thank you all for watching and tuning in tonight.